Hello and welcome back to Song Surveys on Sofas with Superheroes, the sub-series. So if you follow me on Twitter, you know that I was a little late this week because I was in Boston with my sister, and we went hiking in New Hampshire, and I was still in Boston all day Sunday and just got back to Maryland on Monday morning at like 6 a.m. and then went to work and did a whole day, and now I am here. So last week we did a new song, and this week is an old school song, and this band is awesome. This whole album is pretty fantastic, but this song in particular has one of my most referenced random lines, and so I'm really excited to talk to you guys about it today. So the band is Strata, and the song I chose was Hot/Cold, and then in parentheses, Darling Don't. Yeah, again, really great album overall, but this song in particular really strikes a chord with me. So it opens with some simple, quick notes, and then you get like this warpy sound of those notes, which I really like, followed by like a bigger intro of still some simple percussion, and you get this female voice with some oohs and ahs before it goes into the lyrics. You get about 34 seconds of instrumental introduction, and then when the lyrics come in, you get like a more complex percussion for sure, and some different music, I think, but definitely the percussion is the most obvious change in that part of the song when the lyrics first come in. So even though this first line is not necessarily a line that I'm like super obsessed with, it is definitely a good line to start the song with, just because it really sets up the story for this song. So the line is, "You said your hope was lost." And so this song is about a couple who's breaking up. And I think to start by basically letting you know, like, so this is where we are at this point, your hope is lost, and everything that comes after that is basically kind of part of our story and what we felt before and what we now feel, and again, like right now in this moment, this is where we're at, your hope is lost. And I'll talk about when that comes back in the chorus, even though I didn't really realize it until just now, but we'll talk about that. So after the second line, there are 3 lines that are super amazing. I love them so much. So the first one is, "The first of the tears to fall hurts the worst of all." I love the idea that like as you continue crying, it hurts less and less and less, but also just that, yeah, like when somebody makes you that sad, like it hurts so bad, like that first initial moment of just sadness. I don't know, I really like that idea. I think it's really fantastic. Definitely like a heartbreaking line right off, again, like kind of right in that first verse. And so then that line is followed by, "I had it all planned out what I was going to say, but then that lump in my throat stole my words away." So I like, again, just love the image in my head of this person like getting all ready to make this potentially life-altering speech and then just getting totally just stuck. And I also love the word stolen. I think it was a really great choice. It's not like taken or stopped or lost. It was stolen, right? Somebody stole it as like, I don't know. And like, then you get into like, well, who's to blame here? Is it someone else? Is it this person they're talking to? That like this whole tear thing kind of, this is your fault that I wasn't able to say this. I don't know. It just definitely gets really interesting. And I think that stolen was a really great choice. So right before they get into the chorus, you get a repeat of the first 2 lines, and then you get half of the third line. So the first of the tears to fall. So I really like that. I like that it's not repeated, because it's not repeated in full because it's like too painful, right? So you just kind of are assuming that this other person understands what, like, it's so painful you can't really revisit it. So you're just saying, you know, the first of the tears to fall, and then the person is supposed to fill in the rest based on what you already previously said. So I really like that. I think it's a really great touch that it's just so painful and so bad for this person that they can't even repeat just how terrible that first initial tear falling hurts. So I really like that. Thought that was a really good choice that they didn't repeat the whole line. So Then you get this like quick warp sound, again, kind of from the beginning, you get that warp, and then the music changes with lots of cymbal crashes, although there is also a music change behind that as well, not just the percussion. And so my favorite line in the chorus is, "Did the going get tough this time?" I love the word "this." I think it definitely, again, like I said, adds to the story, right? So now this time. So after all these other times, it hasn't been tough. And just, I also love that it's just the word tough. It's not too tough. It's not, overly tough or overwhelming. It's just tough. Every other time it wasn't tough, and now all of a sudden it's tough this time. Did the going get rough this time? So I really like that, and I think that was a really good choice. And so I really like that line in the chorus. So then the music drops, and you get the same music from before the first verse for a couple seconds before the lyrics come back in for the second verse. And so, also the percussion drops at this point a little bit, so it's a little bit less full. So you kind of go right into that second verse again. And let me tell you, this is the part that I reference all the time. I love it so much. It just just thinking about it makes me just so heartfelt, so many feels. So anyway, this is kind of a long segment of lines, so bear with me here. I said, "Look at the map on the wall, put your fingers of where we are. No matter where I go, we're just an inch apart." You interrupted and said, not that old speech again, "If we're just an inch apart, then reach out and grab my hand." So fantastically fantastic. I cannot even tell you how much I love that line. I love the image of this person sitting by themselves in a house, in an apartment, looking at this map that maybe was labeled you, me, and you just put your finger, and they're like, "No, I can't take this anymore. We've done this so many times. It doesn't work anymore. It was cute and romantic the first time, and now it's just, I'm over it." So again, I love that it's definitely happened before. So I really like that they established that. And I really just like how, again, just heartbreaking that image is. It's this distance is pulling them apart. And I also really like that at this point in the song, you pretty much know that both of them are still in love with each other, and it's not just the singer who is pining over this person. It's both people are still really in love with each other, right? If we're just an inch apart, then reach out and grab my hand. This person still wants to be, despite these terrible feelings with this distance, they still want to be together. So I really, really love those lines. I think it's fantastic, and it's just so great, so wonderful. Love it. So then we get an instrumental build for a few seconds that goes back into the chorus, which has the same music. And so, listen, I know that I already talked about the first chorus, but at this point in me talking and writing down my notes for the song, I totally forgot that I sing one of the lines in the chorus totally wrong, and I just realized it at this moment when I was taking my notes, and I was like, OMG, for the past 12 years, I have been thinking that this lyric is that, and it totally doesn't even sound like it, and it was totally a stretch, and now listening to it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's definitely, my version is definitely not correct. Excuse me. So I just love that it took me, halfway through the song to even realize that I sang it wrong to begin with, and that this line is really the right line. And again, it just kind of is one of those things. I guess I just wanted to hear what I heard. I don't know. Anyway, so the real lyric is, "Are you giving us up?" I'm almost embarrassed to share this with you. So the next line that I thought it was is, "Are you giving up slow?" Right? As in you are slowly giving up. You haven't quite given up the whole yet, but you're slowly just yeah, I'm slowly giving up. No, not the line at all. Definitely when you listen to the song, it is, "Are you giving us up?" Makes so much more sense. I don't know why for 12 years I thought it was this other version. But yeah, so, and also this totally goes back to that first line, right? When they talk about how the hope is lost. So you're oh wait, this hope is already lost, so why would they be giving up slow? It's that you've already given up. So he's asking, "Are you giving up on us?" It makes so much more sense for the whole song. I can't believe I've had it wrong all these years. So yeah, again, this is why I love doing this. It definitely makes it interesting when I find some errors or things like that, but whatever, what are you gonna do? Yeah, so, most of the last line is repeated. So you get "don't give up." I'm pretty sure the last line is "on us." And right after the last line, but with like a different sounding voice, you get this like that repetition. So the last line of the chorus is saying, and then you get this like "don't give up" with this like newer sounding voice, and I love it. Again, you know, any repetition that is slightly changed or slightly different always is a fan favorite of mine. So I really love that choice, and I think it was well done and in a good place. It was really great. So then, without a transition and with that still fuller sound of music, they go right into the third verse. So again, I really like that choice, right? You get this like music transitions between the chorus and the verse and the first part in the verse. And then you kind of, again, get that transition, but now you've heard the chorus and it's just going right into that third verse. So I really like that touch. I think it was a good choice. So the first two lines I really love. "I know that this is true, at least it used to be. You'd have nobody if you don't have me." So I love that he says, "I know," and then all of a sudden is questioning himself. Like, well, I mean, I guess at least it used to be. So I think that that was a really great choice, and even just the way it's presented, I like that. I know this is true, and then you kind of get this like, oh wait, well, at least it used to be. So I love the order of it. I think it's great. I think the way that it's said is fantastic. The word choices were really good. And I especially love it because in the first verse, the singer says the opposite, right? So he says, "I'd have nobody if I don't have you." So I think that, again, it just kind of really brings the story together. They both clearly love each other. They both clearly would have no one if they didn't have one another. At least that's how they're feeling about it. And so, yeah, you just get both sides of the story in this one song. And I think it's really great. And again, you get this repetition, but it's changed. I mean, not so much a repetition, but you definitely kind of have that same sense, and it's a very different repetition of it. So I really like it. I think it was really a good choice. And again, this is the third verse versus the first verse. So I like how the story is progressing, and it's, again, telling both sides pretty equally. And so I really like that. So then there's a music transition and a change, and the bridge begins with "Darling, Don't," which is repeated 2 times. And so then after that, the second time, like after the second time, the word "don't" is just repeated 2 times. So it's "darling, don't, darling, don't, don't, don't." So I really like that. And the music is definitely different from the rest of the song. So you get this very distinct bridge feel. And then there's like a few seconds of music with a definite change, a bigger change than already has occurred. And you get one line: "We didn't come this far just to throw it all away." And like I said, I just love that you get this like feeling of like repetitiveness in terms of what is happening with them in the relationship, not in terms of the song being repetitive, but this is happening and they've been long distance for a long time, and you know, they've tried all these strategies and all these things, and you know, if I have no one, I don't have you, and if you have no one, you don't have me. Like, I just love it. And I think that it definitely is like the last plea, right? So in this song, it's like towards the end, and it's like, well, come on, we didn't come this far just to throw it all, right? This is the singer's time to like be begging. So I really like that, and I think it was well placed and an excellent line for the song overall. Then it goes back into the chorus with the same music, but they sing "Don't give up on us." So "give" is held longer than it's been like the entire song, and then you get this like different voice behind it as well, and it's just really good. Really good choice. Really love it. Definitely makes such an impact, especially because, again, it's just like repetition of the chorus over and over again, but it definitely does not seem like it's over and over again. It just seems so different, and just the holding of that one word and then just doing it in a different voice as well just really makes that one line so great. There's a slight change in the guitar, and then they repeat the chorus again, but they have background singing that repeats parts of the first and third line of the chorus as the first and third line are being finished. So parts of the first line, so the first line is being sang, and like right towards the end, you get that repetition of earlier parts of the first line. Same with the third line. So they sing the first line with that slight repetition of the beginning at the end, and then they go into the second line, they sing the third line, and then again you get like this towards the end of the third line, you get like 3 words from the third line repeated towards the end with the end of the third line of the chorus. So I really like that. Again, I love any kind of difference. I think that was a great touch. It doesn't make it feel repeated, like I said previously. Music drops, you get those oohs and ahs from that woman one more time from the beginning, and the music kind of just leads out, and that's it. So yeah, really love this song. Really, really wish this band would have blown up. They definitely deserve it. They have some really interesting songs. Also, one of their songs is called Poughkeepsie, New York. So that's like kind of the area that I am from a little bit. So I like really just love that in general. So if you're a New Yorker, check them out for sure. If you're not a New Yorker, still check them out. They're really good. But let me know what you think. Have you heard this song before? Have you never even heard this band before? Did you check them out? Did you like it? Were you like, ugh? Yeah, so let me know what you think. Comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next week with a new one.